Hi, I'm Daryl Ehrlich from Wilson Marine, and today I'm going to help familiarize you with your new Harris pontoon boat. First thing I want to do is talk about dual battery setup. In case your boat has dual batteries, it's going to be equipped with a battery switch, much like this. Um, there are selections here: battery 1, off position, battery 2, and then both batteries combined, 1 plus 2. The whole idea of having dual batteries is to be able to have one battery held in reserve for starting. So typically you're going to be running off either battery 1 or battery 2 just by itself. At least that's what I'd recommend. If you're in dire straits and each battery is low in power, by all means you could combine both batteries together to get your motor started. But if you're out for the day sitting at a sandbar and using power on the boat, radio, whatnot, you probably want to be in battery 1 or 2, saving the other battery for reserve starting power. Typically want to also alternate between batteries 1 and 2, maybe on a daily basis, weekly basis, but run off battery 1 for a while, and then a couple days later switch it over and run off battery 2. The reason for that is when you're selected one battery or the other, you're only charging that battery. So in this position we're battery 2, only battery 2 is being charged by the motor. So if you alternate back and forth, you're keeping both batteries at a good state of charge. Again, if you find that you're in dire straits and both batteries seem to be low, like I said, go ahead and put both batteries together, but move back to one or the other for charging purposes. At the end of the day, when you're putting the boat away, good idea just turn both batteries off. That'll keep any parasitic loads from the boat, draining your batteries overnight, especially if it's a long period of time when you're not going to come back to the boat. Turn the batteries off. So that's your dual battery switch. Let's go over the helm. We'll start here on the left and kind of go in a clockwise position. This is your master power switch. So this basically powers up the whole helm. So until master power is turned on, you're not going to have any power whatsoever at the helm. So first thing is master power on. This is an accessory switch. In this case, it's a dummy switch. It's for future expansion, like a fish finder, GPS kind of thing. But currently nothing is tied to this particular accessory switch. You'll see right here beside each one of these switches a little button. These are circuit breakers. There's no fuses. You just have circuit breakers. So if this particular circuit became overloaded, a little button would pop out. In order to reset that circuit, you would just push it right back in. So each switch is going to have a circuit breaker. Moving around, this is auxiliary ports for the radio, USB ports. You've got your fuel gauge, tachometer, trim gauge for the motor trim angle. Over here is your nav lights. This is a 3-position rocker. Centered is off. Forward like this is nav lights. So your red on the port side, green on the starboard side, and your white light up on top of the bimini are going to be on in this position. Center off, and down this way in the anchor position is just the white light back on top of the bimini. It shows you're anchored at night, but you're not underway, you're not moving. And again, centered off. This is just simply the horn. We don't have a battery in this boat, so the horn isn't going to operate. And right here, you've got a 12-volt power port for charging phones, whatnot. And lastly, over here, your radio. Again, we're not powered, so I can't turn it on, but this would be the power switch right here, lower left. Source button right here. And that's your radio. Your pontoon boat is going to come supplied with a safety package. We call it a pontoon safety package in this case. That is going to include a fire extinguisher, 8 life jackets, 1 throwable device. It's a seat cushion, throwable. You'll get an anchor, 75-foot anchor line, and two dock lines. Remember, when you get your boat out on the water the first time, pull the plastic off your life jackets and that throwable. They need to be readily accessible and usable, otherwise they don't do any good. Plus, if you get pulled over by the DNR or Sheriff's Department and they go to look at your life jackets and you've got plastic on, you're probably going to have a ticket.